okay, the world feels chaotic right now, and a lot of things are happening. Maybe your life feels chaotic as well, and you don't know what to do. You don't know how to contain yourself with all this madness and chaos that's happening around the world. The truth is that there's always conflict happening in the world. Always, all the time, since the beginning of history, since the beginning of the earth. But now we have the possibility of seeing everything right away, instantly, because of the internet. We're bombarded with so much information from all over the place, and it could really make our nervous system feel really imbalanced. We can feel very anxious. We can instantly start thinking about the worst case scenario for our future. That's what our mind naturally does. It wants to protect you. The reptilian part of your brain is there to protect you from any threat. So we instantly, when we see a conflict, our brain automatically takes you to the worst case scenario. And you start to feel all this stress, all this anxiety. Your nervous system starts to go into fight or flight mode, and you start to feel imbalanced. And this can affect the way that you think. This can affect your creativity. This can affect your life. Especially if you have people around you talking about things, or if you see the news a lot or all the time, this can really affect you, your life, and the ones around you. So it's very important to obviously be informed, but be consciously aware of how you are being informed, and then make the choice of just getting the information and then step away from it. So these are the things that I do that help me stay balanced and calm, because, after going through sort of a revolution in my country, where there was complete chaos for about 2 months. There were Molotovs being thrown around where I lived, and people fighting, and a lot of, fights and horrible things happening. I learned a couple of things on how to maintain my balance, because my nervous system was just completely out of balance during that time. And there were certain things that helped me stay grounded and stay calm, because it was so unpredictable. I'm not saying that this might happen here, but what I'm saying is that it's important to be aware, but also to step away from the chaos when you feel like it's too much. So what helps me is to stay informed, okay? And I would recommend that you find a source of information that you trust, that is legitimate, that is unbiased, which is hard to find these days, but a source that you trust the information where it's coming from. Because with so much AI around, and so many people changing the story, a lot of the information comes distorted and is fear-based. It's created to create more fear around people, and it's not really based on facts. So I don't trust the mainstream media, because a lot of it is just for people to consume, and people wanting more and being afraid. So I tend to just focus on certain places, or I make research on my own and try to come up with my conclusions, but I don't just listen information from anywhere, So that's very important to understand, is that don't believe everything you see, because a lot of it could be created by AI. I saw a lot of videos with what happened in Los Angeles, for example, and a lot of the videos were created by AI, and they weren't really truthful. So it just put a lot of people in fear and chaos, and in this loop of the world's going to end, or there's going to be massive destruction, So just being aware of that, and then consciously being aware of how you consume the information. So one thing that you should do is to, whenever you're going to watch something, is just put the intention that you're just being an observer, and letting your body know that it's just going to observe the information without getting attached to it or creating emotions around it, okay? This is really important because when we are watching television and we watch TV, our brain goes into alpha wave state. We are automatically lowering our brain, or when we are watching videos or something, we start to get into a hypnotic state. And that's where our mind starts to get programmed. So it's very important that you are, while you're watching something, you take a time to breathe and tell your body that we're just being an observer and we're watching this as an observer, okay? So that we don't really get into the frame. Basically, it's like, when you watch a movie that you're so into it that you start to have all these emotions and you start to have the feelings of the couple that loves each other and all that stuff, and it kind of starts to feel like it's like you're living it, and your brain or your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and not real. So if you are submerged in the story of what you're watching, your brain is going to think that you're living it. So you're kind of programming your mind into thinking that you are in that state. So you're automatically putting your nervous system into fight or flight mode and bringing this unnecessary anxiety in you that you don't need at that time. You don't need to be anxious. You just need to be aware of what's happening without getting yourself too involved in the situation, especially emotionally, because that will affect the quality of your life, the quality of your sleep, the quality of your health. So you want to stay grounded in how you feel and how you process information so that you can make the right choice of what you need to do after. And you're not making choices based on just your emotions, but also based on logic and what feels truth to you and what feels truthful to your soul. So a lot of the times people get really upset and they start to respond based on that anger, and then there's a consequence because then you start fighting with other people, and there's no point in that, because then everyone fights each other, and then there's no conclusion, there's no resolution, there's not something that solves a problem. Okay, so just being aware of what's the difference between being aware and then consuming to the point that you get yourself in a negative loop. And I see a lot of my friends and a lot of people around me that they dive into the story and then they consume and they go into this negative loop and this negative mindset and they're not aware of how their body's responding, that then they create this unnecessary anxiety and fear and stress in their bodies. And it also starts to create a story in your mind around the enemy and who I need to fight and who do I need to, what do I need to do and all that stuff. So I truly believe in activism, and if you feel called to share about what you feel and share about what's happening, but coming from a place of your soul and coming from a grounded place is much better than coming from a place of impulse based on your emotions. So that's that. Another thing is like, for me, for example, I stopped sharing about politics in my stories or in my Instagram because I don't need more of that in my life. I want to create a space that feels safe for people. I want to create a space where people can come to and feel inspired and empowered and recognize the power that's within them. I don't want to create more fear or create more unnecessary misinformation or create more division and fight. I want the contrary. So being aware of what you want to bring into this life is crucial at this moment. How do you want to step into is crucial. And it doesn't mean that you don't care about it. Because I see a lot of people, it's like, oh, if you don't share it in your Instagram, then you don't care about it. It's like, no, that's just a part of my life. It's not the whole thing of my life. Instagram is not my life, So you can't take these things to heart. You don't have to share what you feel about a certain thing, because people put so much emphasis on their socials that they think that that's their whole life, when there's this whole life you have around you where you can share what you feel, you can do all these things that create change in the world. without you, showing off that you're doing it in your socials. So it's important to understand or to see it this way. It's like, okay, am I sharing because I want to be an activist and I want people to see my perspective? Or am I sharing because this is part of what I need to do? Or I'm sharing just to show people that I care, And I honestly don't care if people think that I care or not, because I know what I'm doing, I know what I stand for, and I know what I'm here to share and what I'm here to do, and I know what my purpose is. Okay, so my purpose is to empower you, to empower people, and for them to listen to their inner voice and make grounded and aligned choices that come from their soul. So that's what's important for me. So and that will also help you in how you move around your life and what you do and the decisions that you make, and that will also kind of make you become aware of what you're here to do, and also not feed into this like narrative or feed more of this fear onto people. It's like, what do you want to share? How do you envision the future of your life or the future of humanity to be? And once you know how that future looks like, then you can take the necessary steps for you to attract that life collectively and individually. So here are a couple of things that I do whenever I feel a lot of chaos. Well, one is like become aware, what I told you, be aware of, watching the news. It's important to know all that. And then consciously choose to step away from the news when I felt like it's too much, and stepping away from social media when I felt like it's too much. And then I go outside. I thank God I have a dog, because sometimes I feel like he walks me. So it's important to go outside in nature and just observe the calmness that's around you, and remember to stay present, because at this moment in time, where you are right now is what you need to experience, okay? And a lot of people feel bad for other people, and obviously it's important to have compassion. However, it's important to understand that you are where you need to be at this moment, okay? So if and when the time comes where you need to take an action and you need to defend yourself, then your body's going to react with that fight or flight mode. But in the meantime, what we need more from you, what the world needs more from you, is to step into your power and step into who you are, and share that and step into that place and show up from that space of empowerment and lead from that place, lead from example. Show people that you care, that you're compassionate, but at the same time, you're holding your ground, you're holding your emotions, because having regulated emotions, having a regulated system and a nervous system allows you to create better choices and to respond in a better way, a positive way that will create an impact and a causative effect that's more positive for your future and what you want to bring into this life. So that's super crucial. And it doesn't mean, like I said before, and I continuously say it because I feel like people think that just because you're not being chaotic, it means that you don't care. And that's completely not true, okay? You can care and you can be compassionate and still hold your ground, okay? Because the world doesn't need more chaos. It needs more people that are grounded and stepping into their power and leading the way, and having people that feel safe, that feel like they can rely on you, that they can rely on someone who's going to remind them that there's hope and there's love in this world. So that's super important. So what I like doing personally, and have been doing in the past couple of months, is meditating upon waking up 1 hour. I do 10 minutes of breath work, and then I do 40 to 50 minutes of meditation. I do the guided meditations from Dr. Joe Dispenza. They really help me, because all I need to do is just listen and follow the guided meditation, and it just puts me in a relaxed state, and I can instantly feel my nervous system relaxing and calming down. Because my nervous system was so out of whack, it was so out of balance that it was affecting my digestion. It was affecting the way that I was thinking, my creativity and all that, and my energy. So my nervous system is so crucial for me that it's a must. I can't not do it, because if I wake up, a lot of the times I wake up with a lot of anxiety, and that has really helped me just to like calm my nervous system and remind my body. And I talk to my body a lot and tell them that it's safe, that I'm grateful for it, for everything that it does, that I'm here, that I will protect it. So that, because I'm also speaking to past versions of me, I'm speaking to my inner child, I'm speaking to my teenage version, I'm speaking to my early adult version, I'm speaking to my wise old woman, I'm speaking to all versions of me, that, and reminding them or me that I am here to protect them, and I'm here to be with them. So it's safe wherever we are. So we can feel grounded and relaxed, and that allows me to move through life in a better way. Also, throughout the day, if I notice that my heart starts beating super fast or my stomach starts hurting, I relax and tune into the present moment, and I start breathing again. Breathing exercises are so important, and that's what helped me when all this political conflict happened in Nicaragua. At the time, I was doing hape, which is a thing that the shamans do, that you put in your mouth and your nose, and it kind of helps you like calm down. I don't do that anymore, but ultimately what actually worked for me was to breathe. And I was using that as a way to calm my body, but what essentially was doing, I was just taking deep breaths and relaxing into each breath. So a lot of the times what I do is I put a hand on my heart and a hand on my stomach, and I take deep, long breaths, especially when I feel a lot of fear or when I feel a lot of anxiety or stress. And I remind myself that it's okay, that I'm here, that we're okay. And, looking around and being grateful for what I have, being grateful that there's no chaos or there's no conflict happening around me, just helps me feel better and feel more grounded. So I would recommend that. Another thing that helps is tapping. Tapping, it's like you're using your fingers to tap on certain parts of your body that are certain points in your body that allows your nervous system to regulate. So I would recommend that as well. And also painting. I'm a painter, I'm an artist, so painting allows me to relax and to tune into the present moment and tune into my soul. I like to call art as food for the soul and a bridge to the divine. We're literally connecting to the divine through every brushstroke and everything that we put, or every, creative act that we're doing. So learning these things and reminding yourself that you are a powerful being, and that all the answers are within you, that you can help and that you can serve humanity, you can serve your community by taking aligned action from your soul. And you do that through regulating your nervous system, regulating your emotions, and listening to your inner voice, listening to your heart. And you do that by just closing your eyes and just tuning in to your presence, putting all your attention to your heart and just observing how it feels, what it tells you. Usually you'll feel if it's truly from source, from your higher self, you're going to feel expansion. If it comes from the ego mind or from another source that it's not your higher self, it will feel a contraction. It will feel like something's off. And I teach how to regulate that or how to identify that in my workshops. But the most important thing is to start creating that communication within yourself so that you can listen to your inner voice. And your inner voice sometimes is not going to feel logical, but it's going to allow you to fine-tune that so that if and when the time comes that you need to, you have an emergency or something comes up, you can listen to your intuition and you can take the right choice that will take you closer to your most aligned self, Okay, so I hope that this video helps you. If you like this video, please subscribe, share this with someone that you think might need it, and yeah, if you have any questions or anything, just leave a comment below and let's chat. You can also follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is astridcarolina.art, and I'm putting all my info below in the captions. Thank you for watching.